Yeah, from 99. He's in the industrial area. Looks like he's on a pavement. Stand by.
Hello people and sheeple. Panaki News. Well, this is a follow-up to my last BBC licence gangster letter video that I made. As expected, the police are not going to take it any further. As soon as they realised it was actually the BBC TV licensing that I was talking about, then everything got downgraded and the police stopped their inquiries, and I just got a visit from a couple of plastic police officers, aka PCSOs, to tell me that it's kind of not blackmail now. So anyway, here's that video. I'm also going to upload another video, which is a conversation I had with another 101 call handler, who basically accused me of using loopholes to avoid paying for a TV licence, and who admitted didn't even realise that you could not pay for a TV licence, but then accused me of using loopholes and stuff to get away with it. But I didn't record that conversation, so now I've got to pay for a subject access request to get that recorded conversation. So I'll update that one at a later date. Hello.
Tuesday, PCSOs, Waterloo Bill.
Yeah.
I know you called up about TV licence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harassment and a blackmail letter.
Yeah, I tried to phone them up. I've tried to phone them today. The number
Yeah.
you give me actually does go through the TVC licensing company,
Yeah.
which sounds like it's legit. There's been no calls or no updates on there to say that the number's actually a scam. The only thing is it's not open again until tomorrow, so I can speak to somebody real rather than a machine. So I can do that for you tomorrow. I just wanted to be able to look at your letter to see.
Yeah, come in a minute.
Sort of. Yeah, so I can speak to them today. So obviously people in the office are not there during the weekend.
That's all right.
So
I'm going to record this if you don't mind.
yeah, it's fine.
It's
Yeah.
For transparency and
Hopefully I was going to have an update to be able to say that I've spoken to them, but obviously where they're not there.
yeah.
So yeah, if I can look at the letter, then I can explain to them then like what I've seen. So is it what you haven't got a TV licence at the moment, so you don't really need to pay a fee?
No, I don't need a TV licence. You only need a TV licence if you watch live broadcasts.
Oh, okay. Right, okay.
So if you don't watch live broadcast or watch
you've
the
got, like,
BBC
free-
iPlayer,
The
then you don't need a TV licence.
Right.
So I'm legally, what they call legally licence free.
okay.
So I just watch
What do you like, free view?
YouTube,
No, YouTube.
catch up TV, as long as it's
Yeah.
not BBC catch up.
Yeah.
Which letter did you receive first?
Yeah.
Oh,
So what order did you sort of receive it in? Because then we get a sort of idea of how it starts.
Right, this was the first one,
Yeah.
Okay.
which is that one's telling me that
We need to finish paying for your new TV licence. Previous TV licence ran about January. Did you have one?
Did you have one?
I used to have one.
I
Oh,
meant to
yeah.
cancel it, I think.
No, it ran out.
Yeah, but I
Right.
think you have to
So
let them know.
is that
I think.
No, you don't have to. They're just a corporation. I
Oh,
mean,
well, when I called them, it said if it's to like cancel your licence, you can like
Press
cancel it
whatever.
with them, so they know that you don't need it anymore.
yeah, but if you
Oh,
shop at
yeah, it's
Tesco,
expired.
Oh,
it's not
okay.
cancelled.
if you shop at Tesco
Yeah.
and you want to all of a sudden start shopping at Asda, you don't have to phone Tesco
But
and
they-
say I don't want
They
shopping
probably still think you
anymore,
need
do
it though, don't they?
Yeah.
No, I don't need it.
No,
If
but do they
it
know
ran
that?
out,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. If it ran
Okay.
out,
So is that the date it actually did expire?
That's
So
the-
is that
that's-
correct details?
yes,
and such?
that's the
Okay.
date it expired. Yes.
So we sent a new one.
I mean,
Really
it down,
have
I
we
forget
sent
what
you
one.
a new one a few weeks ago, but you haven't finished paying for it. You still haven't. Please pay the new stay licence. If you don't remain to cancel your licence, you'll break them if you don't want to record TV. Blah, 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 blah. Right. So what it is they've automatically renewed it, haven't
Yeah.
they? And then saying that you owe them.
Well, you can't.
Which you
can't
can't.
legally automatically
No.
renew a contract.
So it might be a case of if you, I don't know if you can log on or ring and just say, I don't actually want it renewed, I don't need the
It
licence.
does ask
I
that.
don't want a contract with them. I don't
I
want
think
a
you've got to let
contact.
them know,
Contact. No, you don't have to let them know.
Because I get that.
No,
If
what
I
I
don't
meant is
cancel it, it
yeah.
automatically. Did you just pay
Yeah.
by direct debit or what?
No, I used to
Oh,
just
pay
pay
in
once a year cash.
So what they've done, they've
Mm.
just assumed because you've previously had a licence
Yeah.
that you're still going to need a
Yeah,
licence.
they're assuming.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they're saying they've sent you a new one,
Mm.
and hence why you owe it. But if you
Yeah.
just contact them and say, I don't actually need a new one, it should be from the date that expired. You know, I'm not having it.
From what I understand, I can do that. People do that.
Turn around and say to them,
I'm not obligated to, and I don't want. I don't even want to talk to them, and I don't have to talk to them. So then the second letter. They get progressively.
So it's legit, like TV stuff, though, isn't it? That's what I was worried about.
So they're thinking you've got a licence, but it's not. It's a miscommunication, really.
They hire Capita to go round to people's houses and send these threatening letters, and to go around people's houses to try and convince them into buying a TV licence, even if they don't need one, because they get commission, and that's what it's all about, money. So this is the second one. Now they're changing it to red writing.
Yeah, it's finish paying for your TV licence. We've written to you twice. Remind you to finish paying for your new TV licence. You still have blah, blah, blah. Is that a different amount?
Yeah, it went up in April.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, they put the price up in April.
I paid mine direct debit. I'll get the bill, but mine's direct debit. No.
I was going to say, I thought that's the
mine's
amount
up then as well. So.
Yes, they're all 54.50 now.
Okay.
And in the third one, this is a final notification now.
Where's this one from?
Same person.
Is it the same? When's it April? Oh, May, yeah.
And they're still telling me that I've got to pay money. I've had it for 3 months, a licence for 3 months, and I've got to pay money. Well, I haven't, because I didn't.
You didn't ask for that.
I didn't recontract for another licence. This is the blackmail letter, and this is the one where they're now. They're trying to scare me into buying a TV licence. They're telling me now I'm breaking the law if I watch TV at this address. Well, that's incorrect. I'm not breaking the law. So that's false for a start. And then when it comes down here, if I don't act by the 28th of June, they're going to put me on an enforcement, a list for an enforcement visit. So that's basically going to send salesmen round here who they like to read you your rights and then say, "Oh, let me in to check."
Which is that the reference number for which is one?
That's for the 101. That's yours.
Anything from there.
And then when they turn around and said, "You can't make this problem go away by ignoring it. It can only get worse if I do." I can make it go away though if I contact them and call one of their advisors to find out how to repay the money that I owe them. But I don't owe any money because I didn't buy a new one. So that's blackmail. That comes under blackmail. I thought it come under malicious communication.
Yeah.
Because if people send you letters and it causes distress or anxiety, then and also it says down here something about supplying indecent, grossly offensive, or information that is false and known to believe to be false by the sender, where they know that that's false.
Yeah.
So by saying that, and
what their defence will be is that a simple communication, if you spoke to him and just said, "Look, you've sent me this letter, I don't actually need my licence, can you not renew it? I don't want it renewed." So that will probably be their defence. So I don't know whether it would stand up in court as a blackmail or a malicious communications, because for them that would be a reasonable defence to say, just contact us, let us know, actually we don't need that licence, you don't need to recontract me. I mean, they shouldn't have assumed. No. You're completely right. They shouldn't assume and do that. But one simple phone call or email or however you communicate with them would probably solve the whole situation.
I mean, it says that on mine. I mean, I'll get mine. It says, if you no longer require this, please let us know. If not, we just carry on taking the direct debit, which is different.
You don't have to do that.
No, but that's what the letter asks.
You don't have to.
And I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to talk to them at all.
No, but I'm just saying, like, to save all the hassle you
I don't want a contract with them. I don't want another TV licence, and I should be left alone. It's as simple as that. It's only because they're a big, giant corporation that they think that they can
get letters
scare people into buying a TV licence.
And I think what it is where you've previously needed one, they just assume people will continue to need one because they will continue using that device in whichever way you were previously using it to need one. So,
they do this to thousands, tens of thousands of people that don't need one. And they force people into buying a TV. That's what this is for. It's trying to force me to buy a TV licence.
But once you tell them you don't want one, that should have...
No, but it doesn't. It doesn't.
Well, I'd hope it would be.
You hope it would, and people think it would. And they say, "Oh, we'll leave you alone for 2 years and then we'd come back and start harassing you again.
I can phone him tomorrow for you and have a word and then get back to you if you like, if you're alright with me doing that.
Well, actually, no, I'd rather you didn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've only been trying to help you.
Yeah, no, but I'd rather you didn't, because what they're doing here, they shouldn't be doing, and it's not just me that they do it to, they do it to thousands of people.
What is it you would like us to sort of... Because obviously it's not...
To be honest, I think what this would come under would be
this is blackmail,
civil.
so blackmail is a criminal offence.
I think this would have to be argued in a civil court though, because it's to do with your TV licence. It's like you're saying, like a corporation where you previously had a contract with them, it's expired and they've assumed...
So what you're saying
we could ring them. If
I go over to my neighbour over there and knock on their door, say, yeah, here's a letter, you owe me £150 odd, and I'm going to make life difficult for you if you don't pay it, then they can report me for blackmail, and that's a criminal offence. But if a corporation does it, like the BBC, you're telling me it's a civil offence and not a criminal offence. What I'm saying is we could easily deal with this by ringing them up, but you don't want us to ring us up. That would be our first port of call. So we would, when we do an investigation, we will look at ways to resolve the matter. Yeah. We would ring them up and then say, this is the issue. If they then carried on harassing you and things got messy, then we could look at the offence side of it. But we would also, firstly, because to me, it's almost like a little bit of a misunderstanding between a company and its customer. So would you do that if
but we're not talking about
if it was that
people over
if I'd done it to a person?
But if it was a customer,
would you then tell me
that
if you just explain it to him, then everything could be all right, even though I tried to blackmail him?
We would actually do mediation, but there's different forms of blackmail. In something like this, we would actually say civilly, we will try and mediate. This is the issue. This is the misunderstanding. Can it be resolved?
Resolve it, yeah.
Because we don't automatically prosecute straight away or go down the criminal side, because for your own sort of standings, we've got to make sure the case will stand up in court.
Yeah.
The last thing that you want is to then go to court and then the judge they turn around and go, yeah, well, if he'd let us know, this would have stopped ages ago, and then it all collapses and they go, right, okay, that's a valid defence. So what I'm saying is, if you don't want us to ring them,
which I would have done throughout yourself,
that would have been our first port of call.
Which I tried to do today,
It would then be a case of them working out with yourselves, because I suppose when they turn up, if you turn around and say to them, well, I don't actually need it, then they would have to go away and communicate it back to them. And then if you're saying that they don't listen to you then your case would then start standing up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but they in a red letter as well. They shouldn't be sending things like this out.
Companies do that, don't they?
To people to scare people into buying something they don't need.
But what it is because they're thinking that you're just ignoring it for the sake of ignoring it.
Not bothering.
So if you on this first letter just rung them up and said, "Oh right, look, I don't actually need that licence. That's why," then they would go, "Oh right, fair enough."
Yeah.
Done.
End of.
And then if they carried on doing all of this after you've notified them, then you could turn around and say, actually, you're being unreasonable, this is harassing, I've told you I don't need it, you're being forceful, or you're whatever lines you want to go down. But because this has been ignored, don't forget they're standard letters to what, like you said, they send to thousands, because some people will go, I'm still going to use my telly, I'm just going to ignore that.
Yeah.
And so they will send that standard letter, they have a standard process, so that either you contact them within that time or you explain what you want to explain when they turn up, if they turn up at your door.
I had to make sure, I phoned in this morning to make sure it was a legitimate company for the first thing, because we didn't know whether it was a scam, people trying to force money out of you, and it really wasn't a TV licensing company.
It is a scam.
So it is a scam. But is that a genuine company? I'm on about
it's a genuine company, but
it's a genuine company, and that is their genuine policy of how they deal with non-payment of licence.
Yeah, their policy of blackmail. That's the policy of blackmail.
In their eyes, you owe them money, don't you? Yeah. So until you tell them otherwise, they're still thinking you're going to be owing them.
So we can contact them if you want and let them know that it's a misunderstanding. He doesn't need the licence. You need to stop contacting him because the licence isn't required. Hence why he's not paying for it. So because there is no licence to pay for.
Yeah.
If they turn around and then say to us, actually, what he's using it for does require a licence, then we will say you will need to get in contact with him and explain that to yourself. I don't know the ins and outs of a TV licence and what you can and can't.
Just know I've got to have one. I've got a TV.
You've obviously done your research on that. That's up to you. But if you don't want us to contact them, this wouldn't go down that form of investigation because it is. We could resolve it by a simple telephone call or email.
Do you need a licence for that? So
no.
you could watch that and not need it?
That's what we do, because that's a subscription, and you pay, you're not watching live, you're watching
through
on demand TV that's not the BBC.
See,
and that's what
I honestly wouldn't know. I mean, like,
I just wondered because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can show us that. You're more than welcome to show us that. However, if the TV licensing people turn around and went, actually, that's not the case, I wouldn't know. I would not know whether, especially because of the online.
Do you get the internet or
on
not
record.
TV licence for like nothing?
No. See, my daughter does
if I watch live TV
university,
using the internet, then you need a TV licence.
Well, sometimes,
but
it gets all a little bit complicated now.
But
with TV stuff.
at the moment, what's this on? Now TV. Okay. And just if you look down there, can you? That's the satellite and the aerial.
Oh right, nothing in the box. Yeah, no.
There's nothing in there going to the TV.
Yeah. You would just have to find out the deal. Like I said, I have no idea when it comes to internet, TV, like this stuff now, Netflix. I wouldn't have the foggiest over whether you need a licence or not.
Same myself, I would imagine.
Yeah, I probably would learn something myself as well.
But no, you only need a TV licence if you watch live broadcast on any channel, on any device, or BBC iPlayer.
You know, you can go on to the live part of it, can't you? Where you watch it.
Yeah, but so that's logged. That'd be logged though, wouldn't it? Because I've now gone onto the internet, and there's IP addresses will be logged. Yeah. So as long as you don't click that live button, then you can't take that off of Now TV. No. Same as we have a free sat box. We used to use the free sat box, and we used to have that plugged in to them plugs, and there's a big satellite on the end of the block. And that's how we used to get our TV. Oh, right. And on there as well, it's like a smart box. So you've got YouTube, BBC iPlayer, My5, and all, Netflix and all that lot. Yeah. And it's the same thing. You can't take off the BBC iPlayer. You can't get rid of it. So, but as long as you don't use it, then there's no law that says I need a TV licence.
I mean, and that is something you would have to argue out with the TV licensing people.
So you're telling me that that's not blackmail, or rather it is blackmail, but it's kind of a civil blackmail rather than a criminal blackmail.
It's not a blackmail that we would get involved in, because that is between a corporation and yourself arguing over channels and a service that they provided or not provided.
But would you agree if I went and knocked on my neighbour's door and said, you owe me £150, here's a letter saying you owe me £154.50, and if you don't pay it, then I'm going to send someone round here, that would be blackmail, and that would be a criminal offence.
I think that would actually still go. If that's, say, like you were a builder and you've done some work for them, and you've then given them a bill and said you owe me 150 quid and they haven't paid, and then you wanted to go and get the bailiffs. That's different, because they haven't done anything for me. No, but that's why we're saying it was a simple contact with them to let them know, because they've assumed that because you've had it before. Why they do that process, I don't know. I don't work for the TV licensing company. They're not part of us, are they? So at the end of the day, they've assumed that previously you've needed this TV licence because you've used it in whatever capacity. So then you've gone on and you're still using it. So they've automatically renewed it. If you contact them and just say, I don't need it renewed because I don't use it anymore, then that would be the end of.
I had to make sure that they were who they were, to be fair, as well, because it could have been a company that wasn't legit for your sake as well. So you understand why I had to call the number and all that.
Yeah, I don't think that makes a difference, though, whether it's a legit company or a non-legit company. If they send you a letter that sounds like blackmail and it causes anxiety and distress to a person, they're breaking the law.
But it might not have been a genuine company that I'd have actually recorded to action.
We look into all types.
Do you see what I mean?
Of scam around it.
So that's why I had to phone in today. But I'm more than happy to phone in tomorrow. But if you don't want me to, that's your decision.
Well, thanks very much. Anyway.
So I would have phoned you tomorrow. But if you don't need me to, that's fine. Okay. Take care. See you later.
Thanks. Bye. Well, to be honest, I'm surprised I even got a visit from the plastic police. I was expecting a phone call at most to tell me that because it was legitimately TVL that was sending the blackmail and malicious communications, that they're allowed to do it, basically. It was obvious they was never going to do anything about it, but it was worth a go.
And it's gone right at the end there.
You got it towards Sainsbury's. Put that camera down, or we will taser you.